Welcome everyone to another Warriors Ukrainian video. Please like, comment and share, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube and Telegram channels. My name is Diana. Firstly, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that he had decided to replace the Minister of Defense of Ukraine. He is quoted as saying, "Oleksiy Reznikov has gone through more than 550 days of full-scale war. I believe that the ministry needs new approaches and other formats of interaction with both the military and society at large. Now, Rustem Umerov should lead the ministry. The Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine knows this person well, and Mr. Umerov does not need any additional introductions. I expect the parliament to support this candidate." Ukraine's parliament voted to approve the appointment of Rustem Umerov as the new defense minister. He is a leading member of the Crimean Tatar community who has represented his country in sensitive negotiations with Russia. He is replacing Oleksiy Reznikov, who stepped down at Zelensky's instigation after 22 months in the job. A Russian occupation-appointed official has acknowledged that Moscow's forces have abandoned the Ukrainian village of Robotyny more than a week after Kiev announced its recapture. The Russian army tactically abandoned this settlement because staying on a bare surface when there is no way to completely dig in doesn't generally make sense. Therefore, the Russian army moved off into the hills, said Yevgeny Belitsky, the top Moscow-installed official in the Zaporizhzhia region. Romania's President Klaus Iohannis called for an urgent investigation into apparent drone debris discovered on its soil after Russian attacks on neighboring parts of Ukraine. Romania, a NATO member, had earlier repeatedly rejected claims by Kiev that Iranian-made Russian drones fell and detonated on Romanian territory during a strike on the Ukrainian port of Izmail on Sunday night. Thursday, the 7th of September, was the Day of Military Intelligence in Ukraine. To commemorate this day, a new coin was minted by the National Bank. The coin was presented by the chairman of the National Bank of Ukraine, Andriy Pishny, and the head of the Major Intelligence Department, Major General Kirilo Budanov. It has a face value of 5 hryvnias. Circulation is up to 75,000 pieces. You can buy it in the online store of the National Bank. Another reason for Volodymyr Zelensky to celebrate this week was his wedding anniversary, the porcelain wedding anniversary, which he and Mrs. Zelensky celebrated. That's 20 years of marriage. We congratulate them both. And more positive news. A car with Russian FSB officers and military personnel was blown up in Oleshki in the Kherson region. The explosion killed one FSB officer immediately. The second is still in intensive care in a serious condition. 3 soldiers who accompanied them in the car were injured. According to some information, the SBU had a hand in it. The blown-up FSB officers worked in occupied Skadovsk, and they visited Oleshki for filtration measures and at the same time to torture Ukrainians. And now to the temporarily occupied Berdyansk. Occupiers of Berdyansk started the pseudo-elections with a bang. 2 powerful explosions rang out at midnight last night on the territory of the Berdyansk Municipal Lyceum, where the enemy had located one of the so-called polling stations. The military guard did not have time to help. It remained buried under the rubble. "It's time to cancel the pseudo-elections," says Ivan Fedorov. However, it wasn't all good news this week. As you would have seen, the absolutely shocking shelling of the markets in Konstantinovka in the Donetsk region, people simply going about their business, going to the markets, suddenly they're killed or injured. According to the Interior Minister, 17 people were killed, including 1 child, and 28 were injured. Among the injured, there was a lifeguard. Firefighters fought the fire in the area, which was 300 square meters. About 30 trade pavilions were damaged. Doctors and paramedics were treating people on the site. The Russian attack came as the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, was in Kiev for an unannounced 2-day visit, for his first for a year to the Ukrainian capital. Blinken met with his Ukrainian counterpart Dmytro Kuleba, held discussions with President Volodymyr Zelensky, and described progress in the Ukrainian counteroffensive as very, very encouraging. The top US diplomat announced new aid for Ukraine totaling more than $1 billion during his visit, including HIMARS missile launch systems, Javelin anti-tank weapons, Abrams tanks, and other weapons systems. The Pentagon said it would also send depleted uranium shells for Abrams tanks. And finally, the situation along the eastern front line remains difficult, and the main task for Ukraine's troops is to ensure reliable defense and prevent the loss of strongholds, the commander of Ukraine's ground forces has said. The enemy does not abandon his plans to reach the border regions, said Alexander Syrskyi. We hope you all enjoyed this summary of the latest events. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Slava Ukraini!